Beloved, listen closely. You do not have to chase, beg, or compete for wealth. The supply of the universe is already yours. God is your lottery CEO, and He has signed your winning ticket before you were even born. You are not a victim of chance. You are the child of divine law. When you look at money as a struggle, it slips away. But when you see money as God's free-flowing river, it rushes to you with power and joy. The infinite does not ration abundance, it overflows with it. You are in partnership with the highest power, and every good thing that belongs to Him is already released to you. Declare this with me. God is my source. God is my lottery CEO. I cannot lose what belongs to me by divine right. My wealth, my jackpot, my miracle is already here. I am aligned with infinite supply. Feel it now. The winning numbers of your life are faith, gratitude, and expectancy. The moment you choose to believe, the doors open. The divine hand moves, orchestrating opportunities, promotions, gifts, and unexpected blessings. Do not say, "It is too late," or "It is too hard." Those are illusions of lack. God's plan has no delays, no denials. What is for you cannot pass you by. Your name is already written on the check of heaven, and the universe is delivering it in perfect timing. So today, walk as if you have already won. Speak as if your accounts overflow. Act as if the jackpot is in your hands. For in the invisible, it already is. The visible must obey the invisible law. Say now with power, I give thanks for divine abundance. I give thanks for the overflowing river of prosperity that finds me today. I am ready. I am willing. I am receptive. God is my CEO and my wealth is guaranteed. And so it is. God is my CEO. He manages my supply, directs my opportunities, and guarantees my success. I do not walk in confusion, nor do I wander in the desert of uncertainty, for the divine hand is always guiding me. Just as a company thrives under the wisdom of a strong leader, my life thrives under the leadership of God, who governs all things in perfect order. I rest in the knowledge that I am not making choices alone. Every decision I make is divinely influenced, every path I take is divinely directed, and every door that opens is divinely timed. When I look at life through the lens of spirit, I see that I am not struggling to build wealth on my own. I am a partner in a divine enterprise, and in this enterprise, there is no loss, no shortage, no failure. The CEO of my abundance is not limited by market conditions, worldly setbacks, or human fears. God has unlimited supply, and because I am His child, His heir, and His partner, I have access to that infinite treasury at all times. My wealth is not dependent on the stock market, not dependent on the lottery ticket in my hand, not dependent on a single person in this world. My wealth is dependent only on God, and God never fails. I walk forward with calm assurance, knowing that my prosperity plan is already written. It is not a plan of lack or poverty, but a plan of increase, expansion, and overflowing good. The CEO of my life has already signed the contracts, sealed the deals, and arranged the promotions. All I must do is stay aligned, stay receptive, and stay grateful. When I align my thoughts with faith instead of fear, the next step appears as if by magic. When I speak words of gratitude instead of complaint, the channels of supply widen. When I expect good, the universe rushes to deliver it, for expectation is the magnet that pulls unseen blessings into visible form. I do not have to chase what belongs to me. Just as an employee trusts the leadership of the company to provide direction, I trust God to arrange every detail of my success. My part is to remain faithful, to do what is before me with love and excellence, and to keep my heart open to sudden opportunities and miracles. His part is to orchestrate what I could never orchestrate, to open doors I could never open, to bring people into my life that I could never meet by chance. Every time I feel worry about money, I remember God is my CEO. Would the CEO of an abundant, infinite company ever allow his partner to go unpaid? Would he ever let the treasures of heaven sit unused? Never. The wealth of the universe is organized and flowing, and I am part of that sacred flow. Therefore, I cannot miss what belongs to me. I cannot be late to my own blessings. I cannot fail in a plan that is divinely managed. I look at my life now with fresh vision. Every bill is simply a reminder of supply already on its way. Every desire in my heart is already fulfilled in the invisible, waiting to appear in the visible. Every step I take is ordered, not by chance, but by perfect wisdom. I release my fears of scarcity, for scarcity is an illusion. The CEO of my life has access to infinite supply, and therefore so do I. I declare now that money flows to me with ease, for God arranges every flow. I declare that opportunities come without struggle, for God opens every door. I declare that success is certain, for God has already written the script. My only task is to keep my words aligned with truth, my mind aligned with faith, and my heart aligned with gratitude. In the same way that a CEO assigns roles and tasks to each member of a company, God assigns me divine tasks, divine connections, and divine appointments. Nothing is wasted, nothing is random, and nothing is missing. Every piece of the puzzle fits perfectly, even when I cannot see the picture yet. I trust that everything is working for my increase. I remember that no earthly CEO, no boss, no system, no government has the final say over my wealth. God alone is my source. God alone governs the channels of my income. God alone guarantees my success. Even if one door closes, He opens another. Even if one path ends, He lights a new one. Nothing can stop the supply of spirit when I am aligned with Him. So I walk through today as though everything is already arranged in my favor, because it is. I speak as though the check is already in my hand, because it is written in heaven. I live as though the jackpot has already been won, because in truth, it has. I do not wait for luck to appear. I live under divine law. I do not wait for chance to bless me. I live under divine order. I am the partner of an infinite enterprise, and the CEO of my abundance never makes mistakes. He manages my supply with precision, my opportunities with perfect timing, and my success with unfailing certainty. God is my CEO, and therefore I cannot lose. God is my CEO, and therefore I cannot lack. God is my CEO, and therefore my wealth is guaranteed. My jackpot is already signed in heaven. Long before I ever held a desire in my heart, the answer was written in the invisible. Long before I ever prayed, the blessing was spoken. The divine keeps no half-finished plans, no uncertain promises, no conditional contracts. What belongs to me is already mine, already complete, already sealed. The winning ticket is not something I need to chase or beg for. It is already signed in my favor by the CEO of the universe. My role is to accept, to believe, to claim. I walk each day knowing that I am not playing against odds, but walking in certainty. The world teaches that wealth is chance, that success is luck, that some are chosen and some are not. But Spirit whispers a greater truth. I was chosen before time began. My abundance is not based on chance. It is based on divine law. What is mine cannot pass me by. What has my name written on it cannot be delivered to another. There is no competition in spirit, for God is not limited. He can sign infinite winning tickets, and each child of His has their own. So I no longer struggle with thoughts of, will it happen for me? I no longer ask, what if I lose? For in the invisible, I have already won. The invisible world is more real than what I see. The unseen guarantees the seen. The check is already issued, the contract already stamped, the jackpot already mine. The physical must catch up with the spiritual, and so I wait not with fear, but with faith, knowing that delay is only the process of manifestation, not denial. Every desire that rises in my heart is a signal of something already existing for me. My desire is proof of its supply. The dream of abundance is not fantasy, it is memory. It is the soul remembering what was already decreed. When I long for financial freedom, it is because financial freedom is already mine in spirit. When I imagine my life overflowing with joy, it is because joy already belongs to me in truth. I am simply walking into what was written. I cannot lose what is mine by divine right. Even if it seems delayed, even if it seems blocked, even if others appear to go ahead of me, the blessing cannot be lost. God's law of supply does not expire. My jackpot does not wither away because of time. The signed ticket of heaven cannot be voided. My abundance is certain because it is already complete. So I release the fear of missing out, the fear of being late, the fear of being overlooked. There is no too late in spirit. The divine plan is always on time, always in perfect rhythm, always unfolding with precision. The moment I truly believe, the moment I truly expect, the moment I truly align, the manifestation moves swiftly into view. I do not push, I do not strain. I do not force. I rest in the truth that it is already done. This truth changes how I live. I do not pray in desperation, I pray in gratitude. I do not speak with begging words, I speak with authority. I do not visualize with doubt, I visualize with certainty. For why would I beg for what is already mine? Why would I doubt what is already signed? I approach my abundance with calm assurance, with dignity, with joy. I walk into my blessings with confidence, as one walking to collect an inheritance already prepared. Each time I see another person blessed, I rejoice, for it is proof that the storehouse of heaven is overflowing. Their good is not taking from mine, their jackpot is not my loss. For the supply is infinite, and mine is already marked with my name. I am not in competition with anyone. I am only in alignment with God's timing, God's path, and God's will for me, which is always good, always abundant, always overflowing. I remind myself daily my jackpot is not waiting to be created, it is waiting to be revealed. I do not have to invent it, I only have to receive it. The energy of lack cannot block it, unless I allow it. But when I shift into gratitude, faith, and expectancy, the flow becomes unstoppable. The universe bends, people move, opportunities align, and resources find me in miraculous ways. When fear whispers, "What if it never comes?" I answer, "It already has." When doubt says, "What if you lose?" I reply, "It cannot be lost." When impatience says, "It is taking too long," I respond, "Divine timing is always exact." My inner dialogue becomes my winning ticket, for the words I speak are the vibrations that magnetize my supply. I speak life into my finances, health into my body, joy into my spirit, and abundance into my future. I know that what is written in heaven cannot be erased by earth. No opinion, no circumstance, no delay can cancel what God has declared. My responsibility is to hold my faith steady, to walk as though I already hold the prize, to live as though the abundance is already in my hands. The invisible guarantees the visible, and the visible must bow to the authority of the unseen. And so I live with lifted eyes, knowing that the signature of God is on my life, stamped with approved. I do not wonder if the jackpot is mine. I know it is mine. I do not wait for luck. I rest in divine law. I do not fear loss, for my winnings are untouchable by human hands. What is written for me is already mine, already finished, already done. Prosperity is not luck. It is divine law. The world may speak of chance, of odds of fortune favoring some and not others, but Spirit whispers a higher truth. Nothing is random in the kingdom of God. The flow of wealth is governed by principle, by law, by certainty. Just as the sun rises without fail, just as gravity holds the earth in balance, the law of abundance operates with precision. When I align with this law, I cannot miss. When I believe, speak, and act in harmony with the divine, the manifestation of wealth becomes inevitable. I no longer gamble with my destiny, for it is not a gamble. I am not rolling dice in the dark, hoping that life favors me. I am walking in divine order, and divine order always brings increase. Luck is unstable, but law is unshakable. When I align my inner world with truth, the outer world obeys. When I affirm prosperity, it appears. When I expect wealth, channels open. When I give thanks for what is unseen, it rushes forward to be seen. The key is not luck, but alignment. Faith is the winning ticket, gratitude the multiplier, expectancy the activator. These are the laws that govern prosperity. When I worry, I step out of alignment. When I doubt, I block the flow. But when I believe without wavering, the flow is unstoppable. Wealth is not a matter of waiting to be lucky. It is a matter of living in law. Just as planting a seed guarantees a harvest, planting faith guarantees manifestation. The soil of spirit cannot fail. So I speak words of faith daily. For my words are seeds I plant. I am wealthy. I am abundant. I am overflowing. My supply is endless. These words do not float away into nothingness. They root themselves in the unseen and grow into visible form. My speech is my investment. My affirmations are my lottery numbers, and they always win, because they align with divine law. I now see money as energy, always responding to my vibration. If I vibrate fear, it slips away. If I vibrate gratitude, it rushes in. If I vibrate lack, I close the door. If I vibrate abundance, I open the floodgates. Money is not judging me, it is obeying law. It comes to the one who believes it can. It multiplies for the one who gives thanks for it. It stays with the one who respects it as divine energy. I remind myself that wealth is not about luck, not about being at the right place at the right time, not about being more deserving than someone else. It is about tuning into the frequency of abundance, which is always broadcasting, always available, always present. Like a radio station, the supply is constant, but I must tune the dial of my mind to hear it, to receive it, to live in it. If I tune to fear, I hear noise. If I tune to faith, I hear the music of abundance. This law is impartial. It favors no one and denies no one. It is not limited by my past, my mistakes, or my fears. The moment I align, the law works for me. Just as fire warms anyone who touches it, prosperity flows to anyone who believes and expects it. I need not envy another's wealth, for the law of abundance is as open to me as it is to them. I need not fear being left out, for God does not withhold. The law gives freely to all who align. So I stop saying I am unlucky, for there is no such thing. I stop saying, money never comes to me, for that is a lie I once believed. I now say with power, money comes to me easily and frequently. Prosperity is mine by divine right. I am aligned with infinite supply. My words are not empty. They are commands to the universe. They are declarations of law, and law must obey. Every day I choose to live as if prosperity is law, not chance. I give with joy, knowing it multiplies. I bless others' success, knowing my own is guaranteed. I walk with confidence, knowing the universe is always arranging more for me. I stop waiting to be chosen by luck, because I am already chosen by law. I see how this changes my relationship with time. I do not say, maybe one day I will be lucky. I say, today the law of prosperity is working for me. I do not wait for a distant future. I live as though the blessing is already here, for law is always present. Gravity does not wait to work tomorrow, it works now. And so the law of abundance does not wait to work someday, it works now. The moment I align, it activates. The moment I declare, it begins. The moment I give thanks, it multiplies. I walk away from the small thinking that life is a gamble. I refuse the belief that only a few are lucky while the rest suffer. I refuse the fear that I must struggle endlessly to survive. I live in the law of increase, and increase is certain. I live in the law of supply, and supply is endless. I live in the law of abundance, and abundance is mine now. This awareness brings peace. I do not rush, I do not beg, I do not compete. I live calmly, trusting the law that never fails. Just as I trust the air to fill my lungs, I trust abundance to fill my life. Just as I trust the sun to rise, I trust prosperity to appear. The law is constant, the law is unbreakable, the law is mine. And so, I affirm I live by divine law, not by chance. My wealth is not uncertain, it is guaranteed. My prosperity is not delayed, it is unfolding. My abundance is not luck, it is law. Abundance is not scarce, it is a rushing river, flowing endlessly, pouring from the throne of God into every corner of creation. I no longer see wealth as something rare or hidden, something that must be clawed for or stolen. I see it as a river so wide, so full, so overflowing, that no cup could ever empty it. The river is infinite, and I stand by its banks with my vessel. When I place my cup under its flow, it fills to overflowing. If my cup is small, it fills small. If my cup is large, it fills large. The river does not discriminate, it simply gives endlessly, ceaselessly, without hesitation. This river is not far away, not hidden behind walls, not locked in vaults. It is here, within me and around me. It flows through every opportunity, every connection, every divine appointment. It shows up as unexpected gifts, as ideas that bring increase, as open doors that seem to appear from nowhere. I never need to ask if the river will flow, for it always flows. My only task is to position myself to receive. I cannot stand with my back to the river and wonder why I am thirsty. I must turn toward it, cup in hand, heart open, ready to receive. I once thought abundance was a trickle, scarce and rare, reserved for the few. But Spirit has shown me the truth. It is a flood. It is an ocean of supply, constantly renewing itself, constantly overflowing. If I take from it, it does not diminish. If millions take from it, it does not run dry. It cannot end, for its source is infinite. God is the wellspring of all things, and God never depletes. To believe in lack is to deny the river. To believe in shortage is to close my eyes to the flood, but to believe in abundance is to open my eyes and drink freely. When I shift my perspective, the flow increases. Gratitude is the widening of my vessel. Faith is the lifting of my cup. Expectancy is the positioning of my heart beneath the current. The more I expand within, the more I receive without. The universe is not withholding, it is overflowing. The only limitation is the size of my belief. If I carry a thimble, I receive a thimbleful. If I carry a barrel, I receive a barrelful. If I stand with open arms and open heart, the flood pours through me until I cannot contain it. This river does not just bring money. It brings ideas, creativity, peace, joy, relationships, health, miracles. It is the river of life itself. When I open to it, everything I touch prospers. The work of my hands is blessed. The words of my mouth carry power. The intentions of my heart bear fruit. I am no longer in survival, I am in overflow. I have more than enough to bless others, to give freely, to live fully. For when the river fills me, it must spill over to others. The river is generous, and so I become generous. I no longer cling in fear, hoarding what little I think I have. I give freely, for I know the source of my supply is endless. Each act of giving is like pouring my cup back into the river, and each time I pour, the river pours back tenfold. I cannot outgive the infinite, I cannot deplete the source. As I release, more flows. As I bless, more returns. Giving is not loss, it is alignment. It is proof that I trust the river to keep flowing. Every time I feel fear of lack, I picture the river. Every time I feel doubt, I remind myself that no hand, no system, no circumstance can dam the flow of God. The river will always find its way to me. Even if one channel closes, another will open. Even if one path is blocked, the water carves a new one. The river is unstoppable, and so is my abundance. I am connected to an endless source, and that connection can never be broken. I live now as one who trusts the flood. I do not sip timidly, I drink deeply. I do not question if the flow will last. I rejoice knowing it is eternal. I do not shrink my desires to match what I think is possible. I expand my desires to match the infinite capacity of the source. If the river is endless, why should I limit my vision? If the river is infinite, why should I think small? I dream boldly, I expect greatly, I receive lavishly. For this honors the one who created the flow. I walk in the rhythm of the river. I let it carry me forward, rather than struggle against the current of life. I release resistance, knowing the flow is stronger than my fears. I release struggle, knowing the current carries me to the exact place I need to be. I let the river of abundance lift me, guide me, surround me, and fill me. I am not outside of it, I am within it. I am not waiting for it, I am immersed in it. This awareness changes the way I see everything. Bills no longer frighten me, they are simply invitations to receive more flow. Delays no longer worry me. The river is still moving beneath the surface, preparing the way. Challenges no longer break me, they are only rocks that the river flows around, carving a new path, bringing me to greater increase. I am never cut off from supply. I am never abandoned by source. I am always in the flow, always connected, always filled. So I affirm now with power I stand by the river of divine abundance. I dip my cup in its waters and it overflows. I open my heart and it floods my life. I do not fear shortage, for the river cannot run dry. I do not fear lack, for the current never stops. I rejoice in the flow, I celebrate the overflow. I live in the certainty that abundance is my truth. There is no delay, no denial in divine timing. Lack is an illusion, a shadow with no substance, a trick of the mind that disappears when I turn on the light of truth. When I believed in lack, I saw it everywhere. I looked at my wallet and thought it was empty. I looked at opportunities and thought they were scarce. I looked at others prospering and felt that somehow I was being left behind. But that was never the truth. It was only the projection of fear. Spirit has revealed to me that what I called lack was never real. It was only a story I told myself, and stories can be rewritten. The truth is that abundance is the only reality. The universe knows no shortage. God knows no withholding. The river of supply never dries. The storehouse of heaven is never empty. Every moment I believed in lack, I was simply turning my back on the infinite. Lack was not in the world, it was in my perception. And now I choose a new perception. I choose to see that supply is here, always, everywhere, ready to rush into form the moment I believe. When I say there is not enough, I shrink my own vessel. When I say I cannot afford, I close the channel. When I say life is hard, I step out of flow. But when I say, there is more than enough always, I widen my container. When I say, God is my source, and He never fails, I open the channel. When I say, I live in overflow, I step fully back into the current. My words are gates, and I decide if they open or close. I no longer rehearse words of lack. I do not speak of what I do not have, for what I focus on grows. I speak only of abundance, for abundance is the truth. When someone asks me how I am, I answer, I am blessed, I am provided for, I am prosperous. When I look at my future, I say, it is secure, it is abundant, it is overflowing. I affirm what God has already established, and in doing so, I erase the illusion of lack. The fear of lack was a chain around my spirit, but I have broken that chain. I now see money as a servant, not a master. It does not control me, it obeys me. It does not run from me, it finds me. It does not shrink in fear, it multiplies in faith. The fear of not enough is gone, replaced by the certainty of more than enough. I am not limited to my salary, my job, my circumstances, or my history. I am connected to infinite supply, and infinite supply knows infinite ways. Every time I see a bill, I no longer shrink in worry. I lift it up and say, this is proof that supply is coming to me. I bless this bill, for it calls forth new money, new flow, new abundance. Every time I see a closed door, I no longer despair. I say, this is simply a redirection to a greater door, a better way, a wider path. Every time I face a need, I no longer panic. I say, the supply for this is already prepared, already waiting, already mine. The illusion of lack kept me looking at the visible only, but now I see the invisible. The invisible is always rich, always full, always overflowing. The outer world may show emptiness, but the inner world is packed with treasure. The moment I align with that inner treasure, the outer must shift. The visible cannot resist the command of the invisible. I know now that spirit is substance, and substance always takes form when I call it. So I choose faith over fear. Fear says there is not enough. Faith says, there is more than enough. Fear says, you might lose. Faith says, what is mine cannot be lost. Fear says, this is impossible. Faith says, with God all things are possible. Fear says, wait and see. Faith says, believe and receive. Every time I hear the voice of fear, I replace it with the voice of faith, and in doing so, I dissolve the illusion. I remind myself daily that there are no delays in spirit. What seems delayed is only preparation. What seems denied is only redirected. What seems withheld is only building momentum to return multiplied. I am not waiting for abundance to be created. It is already finished. I am not begging for supply. It is already mine. I am simply aligning with the timing that is perfect, the order that is flawless, the plan that is already complete. When I lived in the illusion of lack, I believed I had to strive endlessly, to push harder, to compete, to fight for scraps. Now I know better. I no longer fight for supply. I rest in supply. I no longer beg for opportunity. I expect opportunity. I no longer shrink in fear. I expand in faith. The universe mirrors back my belief, and so I believe boldly. I walk boldly, I expect boldly. For as I believe, so it is done unto me. This shift frees me. I no longer carry the weight of worry, for worry was only the child of lack. I no longer carry the fear of loss, for loss is impossible in spirit. I no longer carry the story of scarcity, for scarcity was never true. I carry only the truth of abundance, and that truth multiplies itself everywhere I go. The more I affirm it, the more it shows up. The more I trust it, the more it expands. The more I live it, the more it becomes my daily reality. I walk now with a steady heart, knowing that lack is gone. It was only a dream, and I have awakened. I live in a universe of endless supply, guided by a God who never withholds. I rejoice in the truth that what I once feared was never real. I rejoice in the certainty that abundance is my eternal inheritance. I rejoice in the freedom of knowing I can never run out, never be left out, never be without. I am one with infinite supply, and infinite supply is one with me. I live, speak, and act as though my accounts overflow, for in spirit they already do. The invisible reality is the seed, and the visible world is only its shadow. I know that whatever is true in the unseen must eventually appear in the seen, so I choose to walk as if it is already done. I do not wait for the evidence before I believe. My belief is the evidence. I do not wait for the outer to shift before I rejoice. My rejoicing shifts the outer. The energy I carry today is the prophecy of tomorrow's manifestation. So I hold my head high, not in arrogance, but in certainty. I spend my days as one who is already wealthy, already blessed, already overflowing. I do not mean recklessness, I mean alignment. I choose to dress, to speak, to carry myself in a way that matches the truth of my divine inheritance. I no longer speak like one who is waiting. I speak like one who has received. I no longer carry the posture of lack. I carry the posture of abundance. Every word I speak, every step I take, every thought I allow, I infuse with the vibration of already having. The world may ask, why are you so joyful? Why are you so certain? And I will answer, because my wealth is guaranteed. Because my supply is assured. Because I am living from the end. I am not waiting for money to come in order to feel secure. I feel secure and money comes. I am not waiting for opportunities to appear in order to feel ready. I feel ready and opportunities appear. I am not waiting for doors to open in order to act bold. I act bold and doors open wide. Walking as if already won is the essence of faith. Faith is not hoping someday. It is knowing now. It is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When I live as though I already hold the prize, I magnetize the prize into form. When I speak as though my cup is full, it cannot remain empty. When I give thanks for what has not yet appeared, it rushes to appear. My inner reality creates my outer reality, and so I live now in the state of the winner. I stop postponing my joy until the money arrives. I stop postponing my gratitude until the breakthrough comes. I stop postponing my peace until circumstances shift. I live in joy now, in gratitude now, in peace now, for these vibrations are what usher the blessing into view. I am not waiting for a miracle. I am walking in miracle consciousness. I am not waiting for supply. I am walking in supply consciousness. I am not waiting for wealth. I am walking in wealth consciousness. The outer must reflect the inner, and my inner world is already overflowing. Every action I take is infused with the energy of the winner. When I pay bills, I do so with gratitude, knowing the river flows. When I speak to others, I do so with confidence, knowing my future is secure. When I make decisions, I do so with clarity, knowing the divine CEO has already arranged the best outcome. I no longer hesitate, for hesitation is the language of doubt. I move with certainty, for certainty is the language of faith. Walking as if already won also transforms how I see others. I no longer envy those who are manifesting their wealth, for I know I am already standing in mine. Their blessing does not take from mine. Their overflow does not reduce my flow. The law of abundance is infinite, and my cup is already filled. So I rejoice when others win, because it is proof that the vibration of prosperity is alive and active all around me. I no longer beg God for what He has already given. I no longer cry for what is already mine. Instead, I thank Him as though it is already in my hands, for gratitude is the seal that brings the invisible into the visible. I say, thank you for the money that fills my accounts. Thank you for the opportunities that lift me higher. Thank you for the divine connections that bless me. Thank you for the miracles unfolding even now. These words are not wishful. They are declarations of truth. And as I continue in this consciousness, I find that my reality bends to match it. People call with offers I did not expect. Money arrives through channels I never imagined. Ideas come with clarity and power. Doors swing open that had seemed shut. I realized that the universe was only waiting for me to walk in alignment, to live from the end, to act as if. Once I did, the blessings rushed to meet me. Even in quiet moments, when nothing seems to be happening, I keep the posture of the winner. I do not slump in despair. I do not question in doubt. I remain in thanksgiving, in expectancy, in confidence. I know the outer may lag behind the inner, but it must eventually match. The law cannot be broken. The invisible must become visible. The seed must bear fruit, the decree must manifest, so today, I choose to act as though the victory is mine, because it is. I choose to speak as though the jackpot has already been claimed, because it has. I choose to live as though the abundance is already flowing, because it is. I am not pretending, I am prophesying. I am not acting, I am aligning. The reality of spirit is greater than the illusion of time, and so I live from that greater truth. And as I continue walking as if already won, I find that my vibration grows stronger, my confidence unshakable, my peace unmovable. Nothing can take me out of this state, for I know the truth. I am already blessed, already wealthy, already victorious. The visible must bow to the invisible, and the invisible has declared my success. So I walk forward boldly, joyfully, abundantly, as one who has already received, already multiplied, already won. The winning numbers of life are faith, gratitude, and expectancy. These are not digits written on a ticket, but vibrations written in the soul. Every day I rise, I am given the chance to play them, and every day I do, they guarantee my victory. Faith is the first number, for it anchors me in the unseen. It is the steady hand that does not tremble when appearances look empty. It is the voice that whispers, "It is already yours," even when the outer world seems to argue otherwise. Faith is my agreement with divine law, my signature on heaven's check. When I carry faith, I walk as though the result is assured, for it is. The second number is gratitude, the power that multiplies what I hold. Gratitude says, "Even the little I see is already abundant, and it must grow." Gratitude blesses every coin, every dollar, every opportunity, and by blessing it, calls forth more. I do not wait for the millions to give thanks. I give thanks for the flow already in motion, and that very thankfulness accelerates its speed. Gratitude is not just words, it is a posture, an energy, a radiance that tells the universe, "I am ready for more." And so more comes. The third number is expectancy, the magnetic pull of the future into the present. Expectancy does not wonder if, it knows when. It does not doubt the delivery. It opens the door to receive it. Expectancy is living with the lamp lit, knowing the blessing is on its way. It is checking the mail with joy, answering the call with readiness, showing up with open hands. Expectancy draws the invisible into form, for what I continually expect cannot stay away. Faith, gratitude, and expectancy. When I play these three numbers together, I always win. The lottery of spirit has no losing ticket. These numbers never fail, never change, never expire. They are the eternal code of manifestation, the alignment that guarantees results. Many chase after the outer, trying to guess the winning digits of luck, but I know the real secret, the code, is within. I carry it in my words, in my feelings, in my imagination. Each time I affirm, "God is my source," I play the number of faith. Each time I say, "Thank you," before the blessing appears, I play the number of gratitude. Each time I wake with the joy of expectation, I play the number of expectancy, and together they unlock the jackpot of divine abundance. The world may say it is random, but I know it is precise. Divine law is exact, never failing, never mistaken. The same way numbers align in perfect sequence, the laws of spirit align to deliver prosperity to me. When I stay in harmony with these vibrations, the results are inevitable. Money flows, opportunities arrive, doors open, people appear, circumstances shift. I am drawn like a magnet to what is mine, and what is mine is drawn like a magnet to me. Faith reminds me that the seed planted is guaranteed to bear fruit. Gratitude waters it daily with joy and recognition. Expectancy waits with open arms, knowing the harvest is certain. And so I do not struggle, I do not strain, I do not beg. I simply play the winning numbers each day, knowing the outcome cannot be denied. Faith lifts my eyes when circumstances look barren. Gratitude fills my heart when supply seems small. Expectancy keeps my soul awake when time appears long. Together, they keep me in alignment with the inevitable flood of good that belongs to me. I practice these numbers in the smallest things. When I find a coin, I give thanks as though I found treasure. When an idea comes, I expect it to prosper. When a door opens, I step through in faith. I treat the smallest evidence as a sign of greater overflow, and so greater overflow arrives. Every small win is proof that the big win is already here. Every small supply is evidence of the river rushing toward me. Every little sign is the whisper of the jackpot already written in my name. Faith is the soil, gratitude is the sunlight, expectancy is the rain. Together they bring forth the harvest. Without faith, the soil is barren. Without gratitude, the light is dim. Without expectancy, the rain is withheld. But with all three, nothing can stop the seed from sprouting. And so I live in that balance daily, tending the garden of my manifestation with these divine numbers. When doubt tries to creep in, I call upon faith, reminding myself that God is my CEO and He cannot fail. When frustration whispers, I answer with gratitude, counting blessings already visible. When impatience knocks, I replace it with expectancy, knowing the delivery is already en route. In this way, I stay steady, calm, assured, unshaken. I am no longer swayed by appearances, because I know the formula works. I know the law delivers. I know the numbers always win. And as I continue, the outer world must catch up. Money arrives, health strengthens, relationships flourish, peace overflows. All that I envisioned becomes visible, not by accident, but by law. For I played the winning numbers, and the law cannot deny them. The jackpot is mine because it was always mine, and now it appears in form. Faith, gratitude, and expectancy were the keys, and I played them boldly, joyfully, consistently. So I rise each day not in fear of chance, but in certainty of law. I do not ask, what if I lose? I declare, I cannot lose. I do not say, what if it doesn't happen? I affirm, it is already done. I do not shrink back in hesitation. I lean forward in expectancy. I am aligned with the divine code, and the divine code never fails. The winning numbers are faith, gratitude, and expectancy, and I carry them always, in every thought, in every word, in every action. And so the jackpot of abundance continues to flow, greater and greater, richer and richer, higher and higher, as I live in harmony with the law that guarantees my success. I give thanks now for divine abundance. I give thanks for the overflowing river of prosperity that finds me today. Gratitude is my song, and I sing it before the harvest appears, knowing that the very act of thanksgiving brings the harvest into sight. I do not wait until my hands are full to rejoice. I rejoice now, for in spirit my hands are already overflowing. Gratitude is the seal that locks the blessing into my experience, the key that turns invisible supply into visible form. I wake with thanksgiving, for breath itself is a gift, proof that life is flowing, proof that God is near. I give thanks for the bed that holds me, the roof that shelters me, the food that nourishes me. And as I thank Him for these simple blessings, I feel them multiply. I know that whatever I appreciate expands, whatever I bless grows, whatever I thank God for increases in my life. Gratitude makes me magnetic. It draws more of what I honor into my world. When I thank God for money, more money finds me. When I thank Him for opportunities, more opportunities open. When I thank Him for love, love deepens and multiplies around me. Gratitude is the evidence that I already believe, for why would I give thanks for something unless I knew it was mine? So my thanksgiving is the loudest declaration of my faith. It is my way of saying, I already hold it, I already see it, I already know it. I give thanks for divine abundance not as a request but as a recognition. I am not begging heaven to send what it has not yet decided. I am acknowledging that heaven has already decreed my good, and I receive it. Gratitude is not pleading, it is receiving. It is the open hand saying, yes, I accept. And the universe rushes to fill an open hand, so I walk in thanks all day long. When I hear good news, I say, thank you. When I face challenges, I still say, thank you, knowing the challenge is only a bridge to something greater. When money arrives, I bless it and thank God for it. When money goes out, I bless it too, knowing it will return multiplied. My thanks makes me fearless, for I know there is never loss in God's economy. There is only circulation, only flow, only expansion. I give thanks for the money already in my accounts, and I give thanks for the wealth that is pouring in now. I give thanks for the open doors I can see, and I give thanks for the doors about to open that I cannot yet see. I give thanks for the miracles unfolding in secret, arranging themselves perfectly to bless me. Gratitude turns my waiting into rejoicing, my uncertainty into confidence, my lack into supply. Each thank you is like planting a seed in fertile soil. I do not see the harvest immediately, but I know the seed is alive and it must grow. So I scatter my gratitude constantly, planting hundreds of seeds each day. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this gift. Thank you for the money on its way. Thank you for the prosperity I am stepping into. My life becomes a garden of gratitude, and soon the blossoms of abundance surround me everywhere. Gratitude keeps me in the vibration of plenty. When I give thanks, I cannot feel lack. When I give thanks, I cannot feel fear. Thanksgiving is a shield against doubt, a fortress against worry, a sword against despair. It keeps me lifted, aligned, radiant, open. The grateful heart is always rich, and the rich heart always attracts more riches. I give thanks for divine abundance not just for myself but for all. I bless the prosperity of others, knowing it proves the law works. I rejoice when I see someone win, for their victory affirms my own. Gratitude removes envy and replaces it with joy. It teaches me that abundance is infinite, that there is no competition, that everyone's river can overflow at once. When I thank God for the good I see around me, I call that good into my own life. I give thanks that God is my CEO, managing my wealth, guiding my steps, arranging my opportunities. I give thanks that I do not need to figure out how. It is already arranged. I give thanks that my supply comes from unlimited channels, and even now unseen doors are swinging open. I give thanks that I am safe, secure, provided for, always in the flow. Each word of thanks I speak is an affirmation that lack is not real, that abundance is eternal, that prosperity is my natural state. I give thanks not only with words but with action. I live generously, giving freely, knowing I can never outgive God. My giving is also gratitude, a way of saying, I am already rich enough to share. Each gift I give multiplies my harvest. Each act of kindness opens new channels. Each seed I sow returns in waves of blessing. Gratitude makes me a river, not a reservoir. I circulate what I have, and in circulating it I increase it. So today I open my mouth again and say, thank you for the overflowing river of prosperity that finds me today. I feel it moving toward me, carrying money, carrying ideas, carrying connections, carrying opportunities. I thank it before it arrives, and because I thank it, it cannot resist appearing. I thank God for the visible supply in my hands and for the invisible supply in the unseen, knowing both are real and both are mine. I thank Him for the present moment, for this breath, for this life, for this certainty that I am cared for and provided for. Gratitude saturates every part of me until I cannot help but radiate joy, peace, and wealth. My heart sings with thanks, and the song draws miracles from every direction. My world becomes a mirror of my thanksgiving, reflecting back endless abundance, endless love, endless overflow. Beloved, the truth is simple yet eternal. God is your source, your CEO, your unfailing manager of abundance. You do not need to strive, you do not need to chase, you do not need to fear. The supply is already written in your name, the check is already signed in heaven, the jackpot is already yours by divine right. So lift your head, open your hands, and walk forward in faith, gratitude, and expectancy. Give thanks as if it is already done, because it is. Live as if you have already won, because you have. The outer must bow to the inner, and your inner decree has declared, I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am overflowing. From this day, let every word you speak, every step you take, every thought you think, radiate the vibration of one who cannot lose. One who is already blessed, one who is already living in divine prosperity. For when you walk in this truth, the world cannot deny you, circumstances cannot resist you, and supply cannot withhold from you. Say it now and let it seal into your spirit. God is my CEO, my supply is unlimited, and my wealth is guaranteed. I rejoice, I receive, I radiate, and so it is.